sometimes in life, you don't really get to choose what belt or label people put on you. It's their choice, and sometimes it takes decades, even suffering decades, to reach the point where you can find your inner black belt. But let's talk to someone who actually did it, not me. David Rhodes.
Have you ever been labeled or challenged before? No? Well, have you ever been called any names? Anybody in the audience tonight? Well, that's what we're basically talking about, is labeling. As a kid, I was laughed at. I was thinking differently because of the thought of where I was coming from, how I was as a kid, growing up and learning. I had a learning disability. But I got my learning capabilities from my amazing teachers who were my inspiration. And with that goes my first label. Because a lot of times we have failure in our life, don't we? And we try to have to overcome that some way of doing that. Number two, maybe it was because you might have been slow. All right? Maybe slow off the get-go. But you know what? If you keep continuing on with your journey to success, you can always, no matter where you start, it's how you finish. And that's what basically is what I did. I had to end up compensating for some of that. My dad was, how many of you have a dad here? Okay. And how many of you have been told that you can't do something or you're not good enough by your dad? Okay, who's supposed to be your mentor? Well, my dad was one of my people in my life that was very challenging to me, because no matter if I was in honor roll system, he said no. He says, you're not going to go to school. I already put your siblings through, and they did not succeed. So this is where I'm at with my education. He says, no, you're not going, even though I was in the honor roll. So that was a big letdown. So Dad was always with no expectations, and it was frustrating for me growing up. Well, I went to college anyways. I was like that bumblebee that says you can't fly. Well, guess what? I'm that bumblebee. I am that one that flew, even though I failed my first semester. Okay, has anybody ever failed the first semester? And oh yeah, how many of you like to fail? How many of you like to succeed, right? Okay, that's even better. So from there, I went to college anyways, and I had 2 kids, okay, married, and then unfortunately I got separated. The first college that I went to was Computer Business College, and unfortunately the computer programming that they had shut down. Okay, so there went my occupation. So I was again in a failed technician job with schooling and education. How many of you ever had to experience that, where you went to college and you thought you could utilize what you learned? Okay, well I sure. Okay, so that kind of added up to it. Then unfortunately again I got into a bankruptcy right after a failed separation, and then from there, and that was in 1989 when that happened. In 2014, and oh yeah, I married my wife. I found the love of my life about 5 years later, and she's in the audience today. okay, Cynthia. Okay. And so I was I found out that I was almost being paralyzed from the neck down when I fell in Reno. Okay. And that was a very tragic type thing happening. And that was something that I just thought that I would never have. And I had spinal infusions. Okay. So with that going on, we move it up. I have my surgery. Everything's fine. And then all of a sudden, I have to have a second surgery. And the first one, if I wouldn't have that, I would have been paralyzed from the neck down. So I am a trooper on that. In 2014, when my wife and family were upset with me because, and I want to ask you this, has anybody, when you're trying to make a decision, did you ever challenge your family or your loved one to say, well, I'm going to go ahead and do this anyways? Well, I did. And it wasn't a good result on it. And so I went to Heald College. So that was overcoming some challenges here with being paralyzed. Then Heald closed. Okay, I had one more semester to go. All right. And that was a situation. Okay, so then overcoming challenges again. I had to go and do recovery, and my faith in God has helped me to restore where I'm at. With my wife, we had almost gone into a situation of separation. How many of you ever felt that before, where you were separated? Well, it was almost going to that period in my life in 2015. At the same time that was going on, I had a brother and my son both die of drugs and alcohol. Okay. And that was something that was really impacted my life to the point where I went to William Jessup University after that so that I could get into the drug addiction counseling program. And I didn't know how that was going to go because that was 2015 and 2016. I needed to get into the college and start going, and I was not prepared for that first semester. But I had the challenges. I overcome it. So in April 2017, after everybody has told me that you can't do it, you can't walk, you're not going to be able to do this. Even one of my psychologists said, you're not going to make it through my program. I walked the stage. My mom and dad were both so proud of me that day. It was nice to see that being in my comfort zone, being with them, and seeing my wife, who I've been married for 21 years, to see me walk it. Not alone, but with so many other students. My goal now is to continue my education, get my AA and my AS degree. I've got now 2,000 hours of KDAC, drug addiction counseling behind me. I'm trying to get my CCAP so that I can be a KDAC too. And my goal is to finish this year with my AS, AA degree, and then continue on with my psychology so that I can be hopefully go in and become a doctor someday. With that being said, that's my story. But I want to ask you, what label are you? Because all these here, overcoming challenges, faith in God, proving who you could do it, lost my son, I'm giving back to others now who are in addiction. I just want to say, what label are you? And let's get it removed. Thank you.
Well, life is a roller coaster, that's for sure. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like I'm losing words just thinking about all the changes that life can take. But that just goes to show every single word, every single sentence really, really matters. And hey, you've heard quite a bit of introductions now, including my own, but if this is a real conversation, we need to know a little bit about each other as well, right? So I'm going to have you pick a sentence about yourself and then turn to someone next to you that you haven't met before and just introduce yourself in one sentence, something unusual about you. And the person listening, give a label, but a good label, an encouraging label, right? We're turning the tables here. I'll give you 30 seconds to do that. Let's try it. Okay, let's move back to the huddle now, the family that we are. Well, I see some really good conversations have been started, huh? But hey, that is really impressive, to just be able to turn to a stranger like that and just start laughing and conversing. I mean, wow, see, some people over there, like, they're basically good friends now. But it's okay, we can all be a family.